The example of David, peace be upon him. If you desire, I can give you a third example of David, peace be upon him. He is the holder of the Psalms and the reciter among the people of paradise. He used to prepare baskets of date palm leaves with his own hands, and would say to his companions, "Which of you will help me by purchasing it?" He used to eat barley bread, bought out of its price. The example of Jesus, peace be upon him. If you desire, I will tell you about Jesus, peace be upon him, son of Mary. He used a stone for his pillow, put on coarse clothes, and ate rough food. His condiment was hunger. His lamp at night was the moon. His shade during the winter was just the expanse of earth eastward and westward. His fruits and flowers were only what grows from the earth for the cattle. He had no wife to allure him, nor any son to give grief, nor wealth to dilate his attention, nor greed to disgrace him. His 2 feet were his conveyance, and his 2 hands his servant. Following the example of the holy prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny. You should follow your prophet, the pure, the chaste. May God bless him and his descendants. In him is the example for the follower, and the consolation for the seeker of consolation. The most beloved person before God is he who follows his prophet, and who treads in his footsteps. He took the least share from this world, and did not take a full glance at it. Of all the people of the world, he was the least satiated, and the most empty of stomach. The world was offered to him, but he refused to accept it. When he knew that God, the glorified, hated a thing, he too hated it. That God held a thing low, he too held it low. That God held a thing small, he too held it small. If we love what God and his prophet hate, and hold great what God and his prophet hold small, that would be enough isolation from God and transgression of his commands. The prophet used to eat on the ground, and sat like a slave. He repaired his shoe with his hand, and patched his clothes with his hand. He would ride an unsaddled ass, and would seat someone behind him. If there was a curtain on his door with pictures on it, he would say to one of his wives, "Oh, such and such, take it away out of my sight, because if I look at it I recall the world and its allurements." Thus, he removed his heart from this world and destroyed its remembrance from his mind. He loved but its allurements should remain hidden from his eye, so that he should not seek you a good dress from it, should not regard it a place of stay, and should not hope to live in it. Consequently, he removed it from his mind, let it go away from his heart, and kept it hidden from his eyes. In the same way, he who hates a thing should hate to look at it, or to hear about it. Certainly there was in the prophet of God all that would apprise you of the evils of this world, and its defects, namely that he remained hungry along with his chief companions, and despite his great nearness, the allurements of the world remained remote from him. Now, one should see with one's intelligence whether God honored Muhammad, the peace and blessings of God be upon him and his descendants, as a result of this, or disgraced him. If he says that God disgraced him, he certainly lies and perpetrates a great untruth. If he says God honored him, he should know that God dishonored the others when he extended the benefits of the world for him, but held them away from him who was the nearest to him of all men. Therefore, one should follow his prophet, tread in his footsteps, and enter through his entrance. Otherwise he will not be safe from ruin. Certainly, God made Muhammad, the peace and blessing of God be upon him and his descendants, a sign for the day of judgment, a conveyor of tidings for paradise, and a warner of retribution. He left this world hungry, but entered upon the next world safe. He did not lay one stone upon another to make a house, till he departed, and responded to the call of God. How great is God's blessing in that He blessed us with the Prophet as a predecessor, whom we follow, and a leader behind whom we tread. The example of himself, peace be upon him. By God, I have been putting patches in my shirts, so much that now I feel shy of the patcher. Someone asked me whether I would not put it off, but I said, "Get away from me." Only in the morning do people realize the advantage of and speak highly of the night journey.